Hello, adventurers! My name is Nate, and this is my co-host, Ranger Liz. And today, we're going to be giving you the first ever Random Adventurers podcast.
Woohoo!
Today, we're going to be talking about Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, the Monsternomicon for the Iron Kingdoms RPG by Privateer Press, and Nintendo Wii U's Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah!
In addition, we're also going to be talking about upcoming releases that we're excited about and Kickstarters. So, without further ado, let's start. Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Honestly, I like it. I'm not a big Star Wars buff, but I like the format that they set up for this.
Is that the part of the Star Wars game that I played that one time?
No, actually.
Is that an update?
It is an updated version.
Well, because the one I played before, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so
that was Saga Edition, which is what you played, was pretty good. Edge of the Empire actually has a lot of its own cool mechanics. One of those mechanics is that it has a dice pool system, but instead of it being your attribute plus skill in dice, so you end up with this massive pool of dice, what you do is you upgrade dice.
Okay.
So you start off with a D8, but if you have your skill raises that, some of those D8s to D10s.
Okay.
And it's always you take the higher of your skill or your ability, that's your base, and then you take the lower number and you upgrade that number of dice. The downside, the thing I don't like about this system, is that you actually have to buy special dice for it. Because...
Oh, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
As much as I love dice.
Yeah, as much as I love dice too. The fact that I have to go and buy dice that can only be used to play the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games. Now, they'll work for Star Wars Edge of the Empire, the one for being in the core worlds, and the one for playing Jedi. They'll all work for those three games, but they'll only work for the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games because they don't have numbers on them. They have special symbols.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, Fantasy Flight games, for those people who don't want to roll physical dice, who are playing over things like Skype, or for those people who don't want to spring the $5 to buy their dice. Now, that said, the dice pack is $5.
Yeah.
You can download a free app for your smartphone.
Okay.
And it's actually a very well-made, easy-to-use app, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
So that works out in the
Yeah.
end. But still, I mean, I have so many sets of dice
Yeah.
compared to you, but I still would have a hard time having dice that I can only use for one game. And I'd want one of the sets of dice if I was actually into the game.
Yeah.
So, I like Star Wars. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so...
Well,
it's...
if you'd like to, you can talk. We might have an opening up on my Edge of the Empire table.
I know. I just don't really have time.
Yep.
I was invited to it. I just don't really have time for that one.
All right. Well, actually, my rating for Edge of the Empires is 7 out of 10.
You mean 7 out of 10?
Yeah. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It's very well balanced, very fun to play. Combat and everything moves quick. But you have to buy special dice. So that knocks it down a couple of pegs. The Monsternomicon for Iron Kingdoms RPG. You're actually in my Iron Kingdoms table, so...
Yes.
You've actually got to experience some of the content from the Monsternomicon.
I did.
Yes, those dragon spawn that you went up against.
Okay, yes. Yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
Those were kind of weird.
They were. Honestly, the dragon spawn, I think that alone gives you about 100 monsters. Because they give you 3 blank templates, and they tell you, put on whatever you want on them. And
Okay.
here's the things you can put on them. You select a dragon parent for them, and then that gives them their own unique abilities.
That sounds fun on the GM side, and they were kind of fun to fight. I don't remember a whole lot because that was several weeks ago, and we play on Saturday nights, and I work most of Saturday, and so I'm pretty tired once we get around to that gaming night. But I do remember having fun with that fight. So I usually end up with something I might want to talk about later, but sometimes during fights I end up falling asleep because some systems, I think the battle system is actually for gaming that deals with a lot with fighting. I have a tendency to get bored with them pretty quick, or the fighting I get bored with, and then the rest of it I find more exciting. But that fight I don't remember falling asleep through, and I was actually engaged in it, so it was a fun fight.
Yeah, that is the one thing I do like about the Iron Kingdoms RPG is it does keep things flowing.
Yeah, I will say that Iron Kingdoms does keep it flowing. It's not really my, I guess you could say, cup of tea when it comes to like setting, but I do like the game system. So yeah. I am willing to deal with the fact that it's not necessarily my thing.
Yeah. In addition to the Dragon Spawn, which I think are worth the price of the book alone, it does come with a bunch of templates. So you can take any monster that's in there, and you can actually add Dragon Blighted to it. Or you can add Pack Alpha, or one of the other templates to it, and turn it into something completely different. There's even one for a monster that's suffering from cholera or some other debilitating disease.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome. It adds it gives you a lot more creativity, I think. Right?
Yeah. It also lets you take what would be a monster that there's no way your players could beat, and you can bump it down a little, and then they can beat it. Or you can take something that the party thinks they're just going to ruffle stomp over, and suddenly they're having trouble with it.
Changes things up.
Yep, changes things up. So definitely give my recommendation to anyone who plays the Iron Kingdoms RPG to pick up the IK Monsternomicon. The page for the Gremlins, actually, they had a bit of fun with it. The Monsternomicon contains quotes from Iron Kingdom's Professor Pendrake, who is an expert in monster biology. So on the Gremlins page, the Gremlins have written over everything. Like, you'll see cross-outs there. It's like, Professor Pendrake is stupid. Got ate by a troll. Ha ha, how dumb.
Yeah, that's something else I like. I like a lot of character. Because otherwise you could be sitting there trying to read this manual, and you're like, Yeah. Some of them, games usually have like so much stuff that they have to cover in their pages, but at the same time, it's like this can be. I don't want to read a textbook to read a game or play a game. That's always been sort of my issue sometimes with some games, is they really go into like textbook talk, and I just don't want to have to read it.
To some degree, I agree with you. The 4th edition Monster Manual I felt was kind of like that.
Yeah, that one was.
I really like the 3rd edition Monster Manual. Mainly because, for D&D, the 3rd edition D&D Monster Manual gave you a section on the ecology of the creature. Mm-hmm. And sure, it was kind of textbook-like talk, but...
Well, yeah, but that's more interesting in a way, because it teaches you about the monsters.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, as you guys will find out, I'm more of the video gamer. I love Monster Hunter 3U. I wasn't really into Monster Hunter until I watched Pro Jared's video. We should add a link into our descriptions for that. But he got me really excited for this game, and I started playing it, and I love it, and I love watching the ecologies for the monsters, because it teaches you about how to fight these monsters. So having something like that in a manual that teaches you how this monster reacts, because I noticed like they had a little bit of that in the 4th edition manuals when I was running the campaign. I would read a little bit of that, and I knew how to run my my battles with you guys.
Yeah.
I knew how these creatures reacted, but to have more detail tells you so much more as to how these creatures would react when they're in battle.
I agree.
And in general, I mean, sometimes you think, oh, they're coming up against this creature and it's going to instantly attack them. Maybe not. Maybe this creature actually is sort of more mellow, and it's actually the adventurers who end up starting the encounter.
Or it might be an ambush predator.
It could be. You guys have to be aware of your surroundings, or, I can't think of anything right now.
Spider?
Spider.
Yeah, spiders are...
Are displacers ambushers?
Displacer beasts are ambush predators, too.
Yeah, I would
they
think
will
so.
jump out at you, warp your friend away from you, and maul you. They're just like they fight like a cat.
Yeah, the 4th edition, it told you a little bit as how they fight, but I wanted a little more detail, and it just sort of lacked on that.
Yeah, and the Iron Kingdom's Monsternomicon gives that to you.
Which I'd love. I might want to sit down. It's something that I would probably just want to sit down and read. I wouldn't necessarily read them all, but of the ones that I'm interested in, I would want to read.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even if you have a passing interest in the, it's worth a flip through there just to get a feel of what's going on outside of the cities.
Yeah.
I would give that book a 6 out of 10.
You're giving it a 6 out of 10?
I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. The downside to it is a paperback book, and I think it's too thin.
It could have been longer?
I think it could have been longer. The pricing was good. It was only $25. So, that said, I felt I got my money's worth. But at the same time, they've been preparing this book for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on there. If they spent 3 years on it, you kind of expect more.
Yeah. I mean, the Iron Kingdom's core rulebook came with some monsters and a nice little selection.
Yeah.
And then right after they released their game, they released the expanded bestiary, which gave you some more choices.
Mm-hmm.
But, for something that I paid for that these guys have been working on for about 2 years, I kind of feel slighted.
Yeah. I can understand that now.
Yeah. So, Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, Hyrule Warriors. I wish I could play more Hyrule Warriors. I haven't... I probably got about midway in, I guess what you could call the storyline. I am going to school, and so that kind of takes a jab out of my time. And also, I have a friend who's just gotten back into video gaming, and she's been playing Goat Simulator, and I've been trying to play it with her, just so she has somebody to play with. So, I am actually very content that I managed to get as far as I did in Hyrule Warriors, and I'm loving it. So, I'm going to say this right off the bat. If you like the Dynasty Warrior games, but you've never played as Zelda, you might enjoy it. If you have never really played a Dynasty Warriors, but you absolutely love Zelda, I'm fairly certain you're going to love this. My opinion overall of this game is that it is you will love this game if you love Zelda, and I'm fairly certain you'll probably also love it if you love the Dynasty Warrior games, just because it essentially is like a Dynasty Warrior. But it is like a well-written fan fiction, is what I love to think of it. Because you have all these different all these different settings for these Zelda games coming together. And I don't want to give away any of the plot, but it's just, I was just so, oh my goodness, things were happening and I was like, oh my goodness, is that, oh, so I was just having that complete and total reaction throughout this entire game, and that's why it's like, oh, I want to play more. I would like to eventually record, if I can, some of this game. I don't want to do much of the storyline unless I'm playing with you. But there's other things I can do, like in adventure mode and stuff, just to let people see. I think it's great that you can play as other characters, and they play. If you think about how these characters are, they play exactly how you think they would. I think my favorite, which we were always calling her Fee. I think just about everybody called her Fee, but the game, the narrator is calling her Fi. But she's pretty much the little paperclip from Microsoft for the Master Sword.
Yes.
The pre-Master Sword being the Master Sword when it's the Goddess Sword. And when she moves, it's very floaty. Her fighting kind of feels a little floaty, but it does not in a bad way, in a good way, because she's dancing on the battlefield, and then randomly, during one of your combo attacks, she'll turn into a sword. She'll, literally turn into the sword and just sort of whip around and kill everything around you. And it's awesome. I love playing as her. I love playing as Link because I'm a huge Link fan. I haven't really... Did I unlock Zelda?
Yes, I think you've unlocked Zelda. I haven't gotten a chance to play with her yet.
I have Sheik.
You have Sheik, you have Impa.
I have Ganon, and I have played him, and oh my goodness, that's an interesting experience. I'm
gonna guess he goes overpower all the way.
He's very powerful.
Yeah. And
I would think that, at first I thought he was going to be slow and clunky, but he's not. He is slower than the other ones, but he's not not clunky. It's not like,
I imagine the Garoon Chieftain is slow and clunky.
I haven't played as him yet.
Yeah.
He probably is more clunkier.
I've even just seen him trying to haul his butt across the battlefield a few times. And yeah, he pretty much does need a cart to haul him across the battlefield.
Yeah, so, I kind of feel like I need to give this a mixed rating, because if you're not a big Zelda fan, and you're not a big Dynasty Warriors fan, I could see how you can say, because I've heard some people say that this is a very repetitive game, and thus, it's not really all that fun. If you don't fit into one of the two camps, I really don't think you're going to enjoy this as much as somebody who is a die-hard Zelda fan, or a Dynasty Warriors fan.
So, in your opinion, the game's pretty campy. You know, it's going to appeal to people who belong to a certain camp as opposed to...
I probably would say that. I mean, there might be some people who aren't in either of those two camps, so will enjoy it just because, I don't know, if you don't have Dynasty Warriors fatigue, it might be an interesting, different system for you to try. Because it's not... It's a different playstyle. It's sort of like a beat-em-up RPG kind of thing going on there, and so it's rather interesting.
Yeah. I've gotten to play multiplayer with you a few times, so I'll agree. Definitely a lot of fun. Also, being able to change up the character's fighting style by swapping them over to an alternate weapon also, I think, helps to alleviate some of the fatigue, because you're seeing the character interact with their enemies even differently.
Yeah, and their fighting style almost completely changes.
Yeah. It's like they become two characters in one.
Yeah.
2 for 1 deal!
Yeah, 2 for 1 deal. Kind of reminds me of a game that I think Nathan and I will probably talk into more depth later on, Shadow Era.
Oh, yeah.
Where you, it's a card game. I recommend you guys look it up. It's kind of like Hearthstone, which is very popular right now, but apparently this game actually came out before.
Yes, it came out before. It was originally out in the East.
Okay.
Asia block. It was released.
We'll figure it all
out
when we talk about it.
When we actually talk about it, but they did beat Hearthstone to the market, and interestingly enough, a lot of the mechanics in Hearthstone are borrowed from Shadow Era.
Yep. So if you like Hearthstone, I definitely recommend looking this one up, and there's actually physical cards for it, so you can play face to face, which is something I prefer to do. I like playing with people face to face.
Yep. Your local retailer, hobby shop, can start carrying the cards. The biggest thing you'll need to do, though, is you'll need to go in and request it.
Yep.
I know Jeff at GameTown USA only stocks the games that people request.
But anyway, what I wanted to cover. I know this is good stuff, but we'll talk about it in more depth later on. But
coming next podcast.
Yeah. Oh, next podcast? Oh yeah, we'll stick it on there for next podcast.
Yep.
But just like with Hearthstone, they have the different classes, and depending on which hero you pick, it totally can change up your deck.
Oh yeah.
And how your deck plays. And so it's just sort of yeah, you can have this one hero in Hyrule Warriors, but if you switch the weapon, they completely change up in how you might just choose to play that character. So
even the size of the mob or the formation of the mob that you want to face changes. I know Link, when he's using the sword, I want people surrounding me.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm using the fire wand, I want them in front of me. Because
they would be in a V-shape
in front of you, but I don't want people off on my sides.
No, or behind you.
Or behind me.
It takes too long to turn all the way around. You can't really do that.
Yeah, it takes too long to turn all around. Not to mention, when I unleash those heavy-hitting combos, they only hit what's in front of me. So, having people off on my sides doesn't help me.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you give for a rating for Hyrule Warriors?
Oh, that's going to be hard. I would probably say if you're not in one of the two camps, I would probably go ahead and go with, I don't know. It's still a really made game. It looks great. I'd say about average. What's about average score? Is it 6? Is 6?
5 to 6.
5. I'd probably get a 6.5 because it is a good game.
It is a good game, so it's bordering on.
You should give it a try.
It's good, bordering on really good.
If you know somebody, I don't know if they have demos on it. If you have a Wii U, if they have the demos on the eShop. Otherwise, if you have a friend that has a Wii U, then that might have the game. Give it a shot. I don't know if you have GameFly, maybe you can rent it. But otherwise, if you are in one of the two camps, you're gonna love it. I'm not going to necessarily give it a score, but you're just going to love it. Because it really is it's like a well-written fan fiction, and you are just going to get into that, oh my goodness, it's this person and I get to play with as them, and I get to see this person interact, and they normally win, so it's a lot of fun.
It's also fun if you have a family member like I do. Ranger Liz.
Me!
Yep. Who is a big Zelda fan. It's fun to just sit there and watch them geek out when they're playing the single-player mode, and then you can jump in on the multiplayer and have a blast.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we were doing, is I would play a level, and then we're like, okay, I'd play probably 2 levels, and then you're
2 to 3 levels, you'd unlock a whole column of them, and then we'd go through and play them.
Yeah, I still have 5 unlocked that you need to play through.
Yeah.
It's 5 or 6.
5 or 6. Yeah, we'll make sure to hit those up soon.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us are college students, so unfortunately that is eating into our gaming time.
Yeah, that is.
As you can probably tell, because Monsternomicon came out 2 weeks ago, and Edge of the Empires isn't a new release. It's a recent release, not a new release.
Yep.
So, speaking of new releases, what are you looking forward to that's coming out?
Let's see. You put you're for Omega Red, right? So that would be Alpha Sapphire Pokemon. That's my biggest thing that I am waiting for, and I am interested in getting the Super Smash Bros. Wii U, but college is expensive, so that one might have to wait.
Yes.
But definitely, as much as I love Super Smash Bros. Series, it's going to have to sit for a while, and Pokemon comes first.
Very true. For me, new releases that I am looking forward to, video game-wise, Halo Master Chief Edition and Halo 5. What can I say? They're just two really... I love the Halo series. As far as first-person shooters go, it's my favorite.
Oh, yeah, I'm also looking forward to that. What...
Yeah, those are two video games that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Any role-playing game releases you're looking forward to, Liz?
I am interested in D&D 5th Edition.
Okay.
I didn't get to play it when we went to Gen Con because I was too busy doing other stuff and I had migraine headaches for some unknown reason.
I think it was because our hotel room was recently remodeled.
Yeah, that, and I think they also put in new carpet in the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
So, and
they expanded the exhibit hall.
So,
yeah, there was whole sections of new carpet.
Yeah, stuff like that tends to cause me migraine headaches, and so, midway through the day, I was about ready to throw up. In fact, there was one time I felt so pathetic. I had to ask Nathan to hold my hand to walk me back to the hotel room because I just could not. My brain hurt so much from this migraine. I could not operate at all. I just started following the crowd, and Nathan was like, "We're not going that way. You need to come this way." And I'm like, "I need you to hold my hand because otherwise I'm just going to go off, and I'm just going to keep walking."
Role-playing game-wise, big one that I'm looking forward to, that I have money stashed away in my savings account for, that I have booked and earmarked funds for.
Go ahead, say it.
Exalted 3rd Edition.
You are like the only person at our table that's excited about that one. I think the other ones might be willing to play it with you a little more than I am. I played Exalted. I thought it was. I want to say I thought it was okay, but I didn't even really think it was okay.
I will say this.
I didn't enjoy it. I did not.
The 2nd edition mechanics did get to the point of hair pull-out tedium when it came to combat at points, because they did the most annoying thing they could with the initiative system. The 3rd edition, I got my hands on that little 4chan leak, and I've actually been putting the guys at our table through that, and so far, I have had compliments on how well the battles have gone. In fact, the only battle we had where things slogged and felt like they took too long and people were falling asleep at the table was when it was the players against 3 other NPC groups that were all attacking each other. So it was a big 4-way fuster-cluck.
Nice save there.
Yes. Thank you.
Allowing us to keep our G rating. Or PG, actually. I probably should go with PG.
Yeah, we're kind of bumping on the PG-13, but...
Not really. Not really. I think we're still safe in the PG rating.
Yeah. Keep it family-friendly for now.
Yep. Have fun talking about some of this stuff with your kids.
But yes, 3rd edition Exalted I am looking forward to because they are going back to some of the aesthetics for 1st edition. So creation is going to be a darker place again. Instead of being all bright and somewhat cheerful with some of the stuff. It's going to be a darker, scarier place. You know, there's going to be rampant crime in cities. It's going to feel more interesting. So that's why I have my funds earmarked for that. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't get in on the Kickstarter for it. Unfortunately, at the time I was unemployed and didn't have the money. Otherwise, I'd have bought the Kickstarter tier that got me the deluxe edition book and the PDF, so I would have gotten the PDF right away and then gotten my deluxe edition book in the mail.
Yeah.
So
I should give it a try, but I am so scared because I just did not like Exalted at all when I played it.
Yeah.
And I played... How many times did you make it? 3 times, I think I've tried it.
Yeah.
And all 3 times I was... First time I was like... It was like through the game towards the end I was like... Then there was that one online game. No, I played it more than 3 times. I've given it plenty of chances.
Yeah,
Nathan.
you gave it... I'd say you gave second edition Exalted a fair chance.
It just is not my thing.
And a lot of your complaints were on the mechanical end.
Yes.
So they've completely redid the mechanics of the game. So that things move faster. In fact, just the other week they took down a massive behemoth with 60-some health levels. And they did it without anybody falling asleep. So this thing had 60 wounds on it. You know, figure, second edition Exalted, you might be cranking out a maximum against a decently armored target with a high stamina of 5 wounds. They were cranking out wounds on this thing that dropped it.
Now here's my main question. Is there a chance at all with this new system, with you trying it, that you can land an uber critical hit but not do any damage?
There is absolutely zero chance of doing no damage.
What about, like, minimal damage?
There is a smaller chance that will happen.
Okay. That still kind of irks me, because
basically
one thing that made me want to throw my hands up in the air and say, I am done. I am bad with rolling dice. So when I finally, rolled, I think I practically rolled almost all... You're rolling D6s for this, right?
D10s.
D10s. When I practically roll all 10s, and I get, a really, really good, a hit.
Yeah,
And then I rolled crap. I got, no damage. I don't even think I made any successes for damage.
You made, 3 successes for damage.
But his armor blocked it all. So I technically would have done no damage had you not decided to fudge it. And that made me mad, because the GM should not have to fudge for that kind of stuff. It was because everybody at the table was about to throw a riot.
Yes. Even I, as the guy running the game, was just like, no. No.
There's no reason that should ever happen in a game, that somebody should be able to land this beautiful hit and then just do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Especially for somebody...
You were rolling, I think, 16 damage dice on this thing after its armor had soaked up some of the damage, or soaked up a good bit of the damage. You were still rolling 16 dice, and you only got 3 successes. So you just nicked it, and I honestly was like, no, I'm not letting my player get robbed that badly.
Yeah, everybody at the... Look, for any GMs out there who have never had this kind of experience, there is nothing that will make your player more mad than, rolling what in D&D would be like a critical hit and doing absolutely nothing in damage.
Yeah, it would be, you had the equivalent of, in D&D, the scythe has a 4 times critical, so it does 4 times its damage. You ended up with the equivalent of rolling that damage.
And rolling all
ones.
But even then...
you would have had the 4 times the strength.
Yeah, and then you usually have a plus, so...
Yeah.
Or yeah, 4 times your strength modified is what you were saying, right?
Yeah, so there would have at least been some sort of baseline damage to save it, so that... I agree with you, you got shorted on that one.
Yeah, it made me mad. And yeah, there's nothing, especially when you're dealing with players who are like me. We have a couple... Carolyn, and you yourself are a bad roller. We have a couple of really good rollers who are...
Yeah. We got 2 people who are like the messiahs of dice.
Yeah. And when one of them GMs were like, you can't use your player dice. You have to use separate dice when you are a GM.
Here, you have to use dice that Nathan or Liz have touched just to make sure that there's no luck left on them.
I don't curse dice, you do.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I pretty much am a walking dice curse. Nobody ever lets me touch them.
Yeah, nobody. I don't like letting you touch my dice.
Yeah, and she's my sister.
It's like I have to pick a separate set, and then I can't use it for a long time. Let my luck rub back onto it via the other dice.
Put it out in the sunlight so that it kills any evil bad luck that I put on it.
That's going too far with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Native Americans did it.
Yeah, I know, but that's going too far with the dice. The dice, they're intelligent in a way. They learn. I don't know what makes you like hurt them so bad. I think they feel betrayed, but putting them back in my dice bag and letting them be among the others, they start to feel reacclimated to being among their own kind.
But yeah, I keep them in a dice bag with their own kind. Yeah, I don't know what it is. If anybody can tell me how to improve my dice luck, please put that in the comments.
I'm afraid to read those answers.
P.S. I'm not above getting those dice blessed.
I'm afraid somebody's going to tell you to sell your soul.
I doubt they'll go that far.
Uh-huh. Have you read any... I am about to say no one is allowed to read any of the YouTube comments until after I have, just because I am so used to reading YouTube comments. I feel like I don't know, if we do get some of the other people, because we are intending on inviting a few other people from our table onto this, and I don't know how well versed into YouTube comments they are, and they might be shocked if they aren't if they have not read so many YouTube comments before, so yeah, I probably will filter them a little bit. I don't want anyone to go, oh my goodness!
Well, on the plus side, if we ever do get famous, we can go to a convention, get ourselves a panel, and read YouTube comments that you people write to us, where you just blast us out.
That would be fun.
Yes, it would.
So we do need to get some haters. If we were to get famous, we have to make sure we have haters, which will come. They always come.
They always come. Heck, we could probably get some just by posting a link to this on 4chan. 4chan, the greatest den of evil on the internet.
I know, and you already told me that you were planning on posting it on 4chan, weren't you?
I wasn't originally. I was planning on posting this to
Yeah.
the Wizards of the Coast and Privateer Press and Onyx Path White Wolf forums. You know, because we're talking about their products.
Yeah, tell everyone about our advertising scheme. Yeah, but it's this is pretty much what we're doing. We talk about RPG games because we have RPG experience.
That's right. So we are. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. Right now, if you are a fan of the Vampire series, which I am starting to like White Wolf's Vampire Strix Chronicles Blood and Smoke. I honestly have been finding it fun. So definitely worth checking out. And they have a new Dark Ages. So you get to play during the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages. Without all those guns and computers and benefits of modern technology.
Which is my favorite setting.
So that might be the vampire setting for you.
I hate vampires.
Okay, good point. You'd be more... You're the perfect example of someone who would play Hunter.
Yes. I absolutely hate vampires.
But Vampire, I'm going to put a link to this in the description. The Vampire Dark Ages Kickstarter campaign is going on now. A $35 donation guarantees you a PDF copy of the book. So, you'll get it a month before it goes on sale. So, definitely, if you like Vampire, check it out. Don't make the mistake I did, and let your favorite White Wolf property slip through your grip. White Wolf isn't gone, they just changed their name.
Oh, is there any Kickstarter I was interested in? I can't remember.
If you can remember it, next podcast, bring it up, because this is the segment for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. I don't know if it's over, but there was a Kickstarter I was interested in. I just didn't have any money at the time to put into it.
All right.
But yeah, this is us. This is our podcast.
This is us. This is our podcast. We are the Random Adventurers.
We're actually the Random RPG Gamers. But this is the Random Adventures podcast. But we do have a Twitter. We'll have a link to that and a Facebook page. And as you can see, our YouTube, we are the Random RPG Gamers.
Yep, we are the Random RPG Gamers. Follow us on Google+.
Actually, we're not the RPG Gamers. We're the Random RP Gamers. I don't know if I was saying that right. Random RP Gamers.
Random RP Gamers.
Yep, we could have gone with the RPG, but then it would have looked stupid. It would have been Random RPG Gamers, which...
There's two G's right next to each other.
No, if you say it all out, it's Random Role-Playing Game Gamers, which kind of sounds dumb, so seeing the
kind of like
G
ATM machine.
Yes, and I am guilty for saying that one, but that is absolutely stupid to say.
Or PIN number.
What's your PIN? But everyone says it.
Everybody says it because not everybody stops to think about what PIN stands for.
Yes.
What's your personal identification number?
BFF.
You're my BFF friend.
No, actually, it's BFF forever. Which is, you're my best friend forever. You're not just forever. You are forever my best friend. There is no, you're not being my best friend. You're stuck.
Yes.
But I just want to, as we're wrapping this up, I want to end this on my main things to what I'm going to be adding, because I would love to add video game content towards this, as well as my role-playing content that we're going to be doing. But I am mainly a video gamer. That was sort of my main thing growing up, was playing video games. As much as I love role-playing, I do also want to add role-playing video games. So
look out if there's a new Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, if there's a new Elder Scrolls. I don't know if it's kind of old to do Skyrim.
It might be a little late on Skyrim.
It would depend. If you guys think out there that it's fine to do Skyrim, it might be a while before I start recording, just because the stuff... I just learned today that this stuff is kind of expensive, and on my current budget, it's going to be a couple of months before I can afford to get one of those new things for the HD stuff.
Yeah. Otherwise, old GameCube content, we're awesome on that. So if you guys really want to see some, like...
I would love to do some old stuff.
GameCube stuff, you know, we can give you all the GameCube stuff you can tolerate.
Zoids. I actually used to do some old Zoid. I'm not going to add my old, I did used to put up Zoid videos onto YouTube. I won't say who I was. I'm on a new chapter. I actually am now considering that account to be sort of a private account. But I don't know if I was well known in the Zoid video gaming community on YouTube, but, you know, a lot of people used to come and watch my videos. And I used to get a lot of people asking me questions, so...
Well, we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Oh, wait, say what you're going to add to this.
Oh, well.
What's your perspective?
My perspective is I am a pretty hardcore role-playing gamer. I got started when I was younger. You know, one of the kids in the neighborhood actually had some old AD&D books, and he would gather up the kids in the neighborhood, and we'd play D&D. Now, that said, we would just tell him what we wanted to do, and roll the dice, and he would tell us what came out of it, because we had absolutely no idea what anything on our character sheet meant. He was, like, 13, and we were 8.
Yeah, so pretty much my first D&D encounter. You were like, we're gonna make you a character, and this is this, we're gonna roll it up, and this is this, and this is that, and I'm like, what is this? What do I do? I don't understand. This is 3.5 too, and that was just confusing. Do you remember what edition it was that you were?
3.5, yeah.
3.5?
I learned on second.
You learned on second.
I didn't learn on second. I experienced second through this guy.
I learned on second. That was the most educated. I learned on second. That's sort of like that one time I said, last time I saw it, I didn't see it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like video games. I won't lie. I do like them.
You just don't play as much as I do.
I don't play as much. I am not as big of a video gamer. I am more into pen and paper RPGs. And I do love ones that offer unique or interesting mechanics. You know, if more than... You know, D&D's D20 system, not bad. Not gonna rag on it. I think Pathfinder was a very good successor to 3.5. I think 4th edition also had its merits. But as far as my feelings for D&D is it's a very good introductory system. I think after a while, other RPGs really start to blossom, like the storyteller series games from White Wolf, Shard.
I am still upset that game died.
Yeah, that one I am also sad that it died. I felt it had a lot of promise to it.
It really did, and I'm kind of sad that it got, this is just a furry game. When I tried one time, because we have an online group, we tried getting them to play it, and all they were like, it's a furry game, I don't want to play it. It was more than just that. I don't consider myself a furry. I do love animals, and I do like the idea of playing as something animalistic. I've played as a gnoll before, but I don't consider myself a furry. And we played it at our table, our Saturday night table, and it seemed like everyone enjoyed it. Everybody loved their character.
Yeah.
The system itself was pretty well made. Battles were, in a way, more realistic in the sense that every hit really count. And it was... Fights didn't last long. They were very short. But everything in the game encouraged role-playing. We have a few people in our group that are not really big role players. And I was really shocked when suddenly they started role-playing in the fight. It wasn't just I'm going up and I'm hitting it. They're actually doing complex stuff.
Yeah.
So that really excited me when they started doing that.
Yeah, and the system rewarded it, too.
Yeah, it does. It really rewarded it. So I am still upset that system died. And I really do blame the fact that it just sort of got, it's a furry game stigma stuck to it.
Yep. That, and the other thing that I think did kill it was, I have always said, when it comes to the role-playing game industry, it's publish or die.
Mm-hmm. They did not publish the next... I was waiting for that next book to come out.
A lot of people were excited for that next book, and they kept saying, it's coming, it's coming. In fact, they did more than it's coming, it'll be out by Next Gen Con, Next Gen Con came around, the book wasn't out. The Next Gen Con came out, the book wasn't out. Their core book, everybody who was going to buy it, bought it.
Yep.
So then, without the additional release of a new book...
The one that was supposed to help magic and martial artists.
Yes, it was magic and martial arts. And the magic and martial arts
book... And it was supposed to have even more animals. I mean, they already had like a ton of animals already listed.
And ways to create,
your
own. So it's like, if it's not in here, this is how you build it.
Yeah.
So, if there was a animal or animal species that was not in the book, you could have made it.
Mm-hmm.
But they went through and they kept promising that magic and martial arts book and not delivering it, and that went on for, I want to say, about 2 years.
I almost want to say
without
that too.
Any kind of
I think
transparency even on where they were with the content. And that's what killed them. Their fans lost faith in the publishers.
Yeah, I was, I don't know how much more time we have. But...
Well, there was a reason why I was trying to wrap us up.
Yeah, I know. There's a reason why.
So we will continue
with
the shard discussion on our next podcast.
Yep.
And we will talk about publish or die.
And, okay, so we're going to be talking about Shadow Era, was it?
Shadow Era, Publish or Die, and Shard. And many other great things.
Yep.
Probably include some on the Super Smash Brothers from the 3DS from me, because I have that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
I will download the demo, so maybe I can put some input in on it, but I will probably still be wanting to, on my free time, play Hyrule Warriors. I want to get further in that one. So, yes. This has been Nate. And this is Ranger Liz. And we're signing out, and we'll see you next week.